We are the bulk of what are out there spending. That isn't spoken of course, but it's true. It isn't spoken because to speak it might empower us to act on it. Imagine, if you will, what would happen if for one day the 99% of us did not buy a single thing. We didn't put gas in our cars. We didn't go to the store. We didn't go get fast food or go to a restaurant. Consider for one moment how empty everything would be. What if for one day we all stayed at home? Only at home, we also didn't consume. We turned off our lights and our AC. We opened our windows, and instead of turning on the TV or our computers, we read a book instead. We lit candles instead of lights. Imagine the panic. Imagine the worry as there's a full day of income lost. No money flowing anywhere. Our corporate-owned utilities would have a day that they can't bill from not just a few people, but 99% of people. Imagine the loss they would see. Imagine the loss that oil companies would see when no fuel is purchased. Would the 1% be there to purchase in our place? No, they would not. Nor do we want them to. We do not want them to spend in our place. We do not want even to take their money. Redistribution of wealth is rubbish, and it's used by those who oppose tax reforms as a red herring. We do not want a redistribution of wealth. We want a resumption of responsibility. We want them to stop being favored by our tax system. We can see that they have bought and paid for our government, and we are tired of it. We want our government back. We want our government to work for everyone, not just them. We do not want, though some signs are shown, to be like China. If we don't fix where we are now, we will be China anyway, as China will buy us out state by state. Besides, China is going to become more like we are now. They already have one part of it down pat. Their elite are the only ones to dictate their government, not us. Or should I say, it doesn't have to be us. We have the right to petition our government. We have the right to assemble and protest peacefully. We have the right to take our government back from the elite without violence or revolution. Our right is there, laid out for us in the document that those beholden to corporate interests hold up and say, this is why we have to favor the elite. Hallowed be their name. This movement that stands on the mountain overlooking two paths has the potential to do just that, to stand and to lead. But it cannot be led. It must find its voice and leadership organically. As more and more attention turns to it, it must find it soon. It must unify those voices, and it must present a face that shows that while there are disparate voices in the movement and different ideas, that those different ideas are not the movement. Those different ideas, the communists, the in-debt students, the mortgage meltdown victims, the unemployed, the underemployed, the veterans who come back and say, what's happened to my country and where are the jobs? The unions that join in their voice and support are their own. But from their different points of view, they understand one thing. The top 1% have been too favored for too long. It is time that our government stop working for the interests of the few and work to the basic interests of the many. Whether you are a communist, a socialist, a capitalist, or a Marxist, we all want jobs. Whether you are young or old, from the middle class, working class, or the poorest of the lower class, we want to be able to make ends meet and build a better life for ourselves and our children. Unify the voice and make it stand out. Right now, there are voices in the media that would see your voice mocked or misrepresented. Our media is corporate owned, run by the same 1% that you march against. Do not give them the opportunity. Stand up, unite the voices, and show them that there is one thing that all of us want and stand for. Do not let them set the narrative. Set it yourself and stand.